Hello and welcome to Wise Women Wednesdays. This is a new series on YouTube, and every week we feature a wise woman. It could be a sage, a mother, a maiden, a crone, or a really smart businesswoman, or someone who just has something really special to share. This week on our Wise Women Wednesday, we have Evakarin Wallen. And I'm Jennifer Regular from Lighting the Path. And it's been such an honor to meet Evakarin on my path. She is known as the Queen of Transformation. And welcome. She is also the creator of the Expansion Method, author of The Powerless Thought, and a professional speaker. She is known internationally as the Queen of Transformation because she helps audiences and clients release what is holding them back and rewire their minds so that they can easily step up their game and grow their business. She has been featured as a leading expert on international platforms, including the United States, Sweden, and Germany. Evakarin has been seen in Ascala Magazine, on the Wealth Academy, and shared the stage with Marisa Murgatroyd. Evakarin is passionate about empowering her audience and clients with her step-by-step process to shift outdated beliefs and ideas, quickly and effortlessly move towards their ultimate desires. Plus, with her proven techniques that anyone can learn, her clients and audience easily increase their confidence, show up to a new level, and attract bigger and better opportunities. Whether she's speaking in a group of 20 or thousands, Evakarin ignites the atmosphere with her proven methods, empowering presence, and her commitment to get results. So welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure to have you here, and it sounds like you're doing such amazing work.
Yes, I do, I must say. And I started out with myself first because I needed it so much. I had so many limiting beliefs that were holding myself back. But the funny thing is with these limiting beliefs that you don't really see them when you are stuck in the middle of them. It's easy to see them on other people. You can see, I mean, I'm sure you and everyone that's listening to this can imagine some friend that you would like to give some good advice to, because you see how they would improve their life if they changed. But and we feel that, well, I'm doing my best. And yes, we all are. It's difficult to see our own shadows. It's a lot easier to see it with others. So anyway, I had a lot of them, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today.
And how did you become aware of your shadows, Evakarin? How did that awareness come about?
Well, I was introduced into personal development over 30 years ago. And I was in a relationship that was not a loving relationship, you could say. It was totally opposite. And I was getting, feeling like I was trapped. I was feeling smaller and smaller. And, I was sort of mentally beaten down, and I couldn't see an end to it. And then I was longing for something else. And when you set your focus on something, it comes to you in one way or another. And I started to, I got a book in my hand. I started to read and got some new ideas about how life worked. And I was so suspicious, I remember I was thinking, well, my thoughts are in my head. If I change them, how could that have anything to do with changing my outside world? Because that's physical, that's real stuff. This is just imagination. So I was at that level when I started. And I started still to do some changes, and I saw that actually my life started to change, even the outside things. And then I got hooked because I wanted to grow. So I did a lot of things in the beginning, and it was hard work to change because it was painful. I was afraid, and still I was. For me, it was like life pushed me forward. So I had to take leaps. I could not be satisfied with what I had. I had to grow and continue to move forward. That came from inside of me. I can't explain it any other way. And I resisted, and that made it painful. And finally, I got the push, and then the relief afterwards, and my life got better. So, and still, it was this off and on for many years. And then I learned about the shadows within, the parts of me that I didn't want to give attention to, because I felt like I was a bad person sometimes. I felt like I was useless sometimes. I felt like I was doomed to not succeed sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes they came out to the surface, and I, didn't want to tell anyone about it because it was shameful. So I just pretended that everything was good, but it wasn't. And on that journey, when I learned to face these challenges or these shadows and work with them and understand them, instead of fighting against them or try to run away from them, which doesn't work, everything changed. And that was the day I fell in love with obstacles.
Ah, yes. Our beliefs are so powerful, aren't they, in the way that they can shape our relation to reality. And then as soon as we can lean into it and just accept, that there's something bigger and greater that's moving us, and that it comes from inside of us, and to be able to free our spirit to direct the life that we were meant to live, it can just open us up, and then move us into greater possibilities. Yes. And you were able to do that. And now once you reach that point, you reach a point of no return, right? You want more and deeper satisfaction and happiness and fulfillment. Yes. Yeah. And now you're helping other women do the same.
I do. I mean, I became a coach 20 years ago, and I really struggled a lot in the beginning with getting clients and all the business stuff that goes with it. And it wasn't until I learned this shadow work and looking inside that things started to change in my business as well. And then I was looking for the most simple and powerful way to do this transformation. And that later on, a few years later, became the expansion method. So it was a gradual shift. So I'm not really sure. I think it's about 10 or 12 years. 12 years now, I think, that I started to work with my clients using this process together with coaching. So powerful. And then it took a couple of years, and my clients started to ask me if I could teach it to them, because they felt how fast they shifted things. So I figured out a way how to teach it, and then I've been teaching people since then. And I haven't been able to market it for real, but I've trained, I think it's about 150 people at this stage. And I should say all of them has come either from them being a client of mine, so they experienced it, or by giving a demonstration, or by referral. That is how they come to me.
Yeah. That's amazing. Now, are you able to do a short demonstration for us to understand a little bit more about what that's about? Okay.
Sure. I'll be happy to, because this is one of the funnest things I know.
Thank you.
So I would like to ask you about thinking about something that bothers you, stresses you, annoys you, something, it could be small or big, but maybe not too big for this demonstration, but something that you would like to experience in a different way.
Okay. I have some performance anxiety. So
okay.
Sometimes I feel a lot of anxious and anticipation when I'm about to show up for something. And once I'm more comfortable, I'm a little bit slow to warm up, for example. And then once I completely relax and be myself. But it's that anticipation of starting when I'm about to perform or present that can create a little bit of an obstacle sometimes. Then I start to procrastinate.
Yeah. Okay. So can you think about the situation where you get an emotional reaction to it?
Okay.
Okay. And we need a reference point to see how things are shifting and moving. So that's why I want you to think about it.
Okay.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, how intense is it?
It's about 8.5.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
And how do you sense it? Do you feel it in your body, or how do you sense it?
I feel contractions in my throat, like I have to swallow, and that little bit of tension in here, and my it's almost like my head's detached from my body a little bit also, and I feel like I have to swallow a little bit more. Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
very good.
Tremble a little bit, not as bad today. That would be a 10, but you know, I could feel the little bit of shakiness.
Okay, perfect. So now you can just relax, and I'm going to be quiet for a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to ask you to think about the same thing and just see if anything is shifted.
Okay.
And maybe nothing is shifted in the beginning, which is totally fine. And you just tell me exactly how it is.
Okay.
Okay, so think about the same thing.
Okay.
And see if anything has changed.
Yeah, there's opening in my throat now. I'm not feeling like I have to have that swallowing contraction. That's gone. That's gone now.
That's gone. Okay.
I feel like I've dropped down a little bit.
Yeah, but there's still some tension there.
There's less tension.
The less tension. How are you on the scale?
I would say like a 4.
Okay, perfect. Can I take it down to 0?
Okay.
And then I'm going to go another something. Okay, so think about it again.
Okay.
Where are you on the scale?
A 1.
1, okay. And now think about the same thing again. Is there something left, I think?
Nothing. Gone.
Nothing? It's totally fine? Okay. Perfect. So we're going to take it a next step.
Okay.
Yeah. How would you like to feel when you're about to do a presentation?
I would like to feel confident and free, just completely outside of my head, and just really focused on the audience or who I'm speaking with, and be fully present.
Okay. So can you imagine stepping into that feeling first? And let me know when you are in the feeling.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay. So stay in that feeling and just imagine that you're about to do a presentation. I'm going to help you anchor that feeling in that situation.
By focusing on the ground and my feet and what's in front of me, focusing more on what's in front of me.
Yeah. So now just relax and then think again about doing a presentation.
Okay.
And see what reaction do you get in the body.
Just joy.
Perfect.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That is beautiful. And so that's the kind of method that people would experience in your workshops and when you're speaking on the stage. And
Yes.
yes.
And this is what I want to teach other people to do, because it's so simple and it goes deep and it's fast and it really, really changes. And you can do that with yourself and with people around you.
Oh,
I want people to be self-sufficient. So if you can use this, this is something that you know, you feel intrigued to learn. You can do that and use it.
and it's a very gentle process that you took us through, just going down, you know, a little bit at a time, still profound change, but just gradually to be able to experience that.
And you know,
yeah,
it's not me that is doing that, it's your subconscious mind, because I cannot force anything to happen. If you were not open, I couldn't change anything.
Right.
But I can be there holding the space for it to change. So it's really, I'm actually not doing anything more than holding space for it.
Yes, I love that, and your ability to be able to tap into that other person's subconscious mind. And you spoke too about how miracles are found at the other end of obstacles. Can you share a little bit more about that?
I would love to, because I had an experience of my own very recently. One of the things that I've been struggling with my whole life is fear. I remember way back that my biggest wish to never feel afraid again, because I was afraid of everything. And then on my journey, I realized, well, it's not a good thought as such, because when fear comes, it's an indication of something that makes me, you know, have an opportunity to become aware of something within me so I can grow. Anyways, a couple of weeks back, I set up a financial goal for myself to reach within the end of this year. And it was, I think it was like 2 weeks within November. And then I got afraid. I felt this, you know, taking my stomach and my thoughts in my head saying, well, what if you're not going to make it? You know, all these kind of things. And I tried to calm myself by saying, well, it's okay if I don't make it. I mean, I will survive. It's not a big deal. It's just more like a fun goal for me to have. And still this stress came, and I released them again and again. They came back. And then one night I was lying in bed about to go to sleep, and I felt this pain in my stomach again, or discomfort. It wasn't the pain, but discomfort. So I was, you know, just imagine what is in there. And I saw this creature, like I wouldn't say baby, because it wasn't like that, but it was human-like creature. It was tiny, it was shivering, it was cold, it was hungry, it hadn't been fed for a long, long time. So I just imagined to feed it and make it warm. And suddenly the fear just disappeared. And my stomach felt empty. Strangest thing. And within a week, I reached 75% of my financial goal with no effort. It just presented itself. And what might not be a good thing to say this, but it feels like my fear actually is gone. I feel like I am in trust. Totally in trust, which is totally new thing for me. So that is a really profound experience that I had for me recently. But I have a lot of other examples from clients as well. And the funny thing is, when I work with people like this, and it has happened sometimes when I ask for testimony, and they said, yeah, I know that you've been helping me so much with several things, but I cannot remember what it was. So it's like erased from their system. They know it was things, but it's gone. It's gone from the system. And that to me is, you know, that's what we want.
That's the miracle, and that's the transformation that happens. We actually transcend form. We go beyond who we were before, or our self-limiting beliefs or self-imposed limitations. We move beyond all of that to the point where we don't see that anymore. We don't know what that is anymore. And fear makes us live a mediocre life, doesn't it? But when we have trust and faith and belief in ourselves and what we can do, then that's where we can expand and grow and evolve.
The thing is, the misunderstanding is that we believe in our reactions, emotional reactions. Because when I felt afraid, I believed what the fear told me because it felt so true. And that is so tricky, because when you have this feeling, it feels so true, so you tend to believe it, but it isn't the truth. It is just information from the subconscious mind to the conscious mind about showing you that you have a limitation that actually is ready to be transformed. That is why it comes up to the surface. So that is why I say that miracles are waiting on the other side of obstacles, because the obstacle is giving us information and awareness. And when we can learn and see what it is about, we're going to transcend through it and come out on the other side. And doesn't matter how big the obstacle was, I promise, the reward when we come out on the other side is always bigger.
So I hear you talking almost about reframing things or changing a mindset. Is that some of the work that you do as well?
It's more like becoming aware of what is.
Becoming aware.
So, yeah, because my fear might say that, how are you going to make it? You don't have a launch. Because my conscious mind cannot see into the future. If I have a plan, I can trust the plan, but still the plan doesn't always go as I expected. But if I have a plan, the conscious mind has something to trust. But if I don't have a plan, the conscious mind gets afraid because it cannot see. But what drives us forward are our subconscious minds and the programmings we have in our subconscious mind. I see this, it's so clearly over and over and over again, that it is how we see ourselves in the world is what we create. And if I start, let's say we have, both of us has a business and we're about to grow to the next level, we will face obstacles because that is what happens. And if we can, it can come up in many variations. And it is how we react to the obstacle that shows us what we actually believe about ourselves. So going back to before I learned about shadow work, and I remember this time I was about to do a group coaching program about reaching, creating a dream and moving towards it, or a vision. And I had one person sign up, which was a disappointment number one. And a couple of 2 or 3 sessions in, she said, Evakarin, this isn't right for me. I've done this kind of work many times before. I want to quit. Talk about feeling useless. First, just get one sign up for a group coaching program. And then she wanted to quit after a few sessions because she didn't feel the value of it. I was laying on my bed crying, and I felt like I'm worthless. That was the feeling, and I totally believed in that moment. But when going back, what I would tell myself is that, okay, notice how you feel. You feel worthless. Yeah, but how would you like to feel? Well, like I was worthy, so that by take a step back and say, this is the feeling, this is my reaction to the situation. It helps me to see that a part of me feels worthless. And that was, coming through the surface from my subconscious mind to my conscious mind. So in that moment, I had the opportunity to change it because it came into my awareness. At the time, I didn't have the understanding of how to do it. If that would happen today, I would take a step back and say, there's a part of me that feels worthless. That's interesting. I have another layer to work on that. And what I want to focus on is to feel worthy, feel good enough, feel that I am what I am. And I will do what I did with you to clear the uncomfortable feeling, reaction, and then install the new one, the one I would like to have into my subconscious mind. And what happens then is that I will start to act differently. I would think differently about myself, and I would be received differently from people around me because we always read each other's energy, whether we know it or not. And this is also something I've seen so clearly, how people I meet receive me in a totally different way now than, let's say, 10 years back. It's like night and day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's awareness without the emotional attachment to it. Just seeing it. Oh,
Yeah.
I notice this is happening, but not getting caught up in it, using it to make the small changes that need to be made or to be thinking about it in a different way.
Well, I don't go to the thinking part because that is when then it becomes hard because it's hard to just change the thought, to change the feeling. I start with the feeling because then the thought will automatically change.
Yes.
And still, I get trapped into, sort of victimhood or blaming sometimes when I get triggered. But it's so much faster now to take a step back and say, wait a minute, this is a feeling within me. It's a reaction. And I notice it. It's not the first time. That's happened before. Okay, what's the message?
Yes, what's the message? A very important question to ask. What's the message? What's the deeper truth or meaning that this is presenting?
Yes.
Yes. And your business is called Awake Communication. And it sounds like, you take people through a bit of an awakening process as you're talking about, becoming more aware, more awake, and more alert to our saboteurs, right? Our inner blocks. And so in Awake Communication, tell us more about that, what your business is about, what the name represents, and how people can get in touch with you.
Yeah, Awake Communication, it's so funny. It started out with Awake Coaching way back. Someone just suggested that to me because he was not a coach. He heard something from me that he just suggested that name, and I took it. And then I changed my company name and I changed it into Awake Communication. And I think of him often, even though I haven't met him in many years, with thankfulness for seeing that in me, that I am so much about creating awareness and becoming awake to who we are, and to communicate, the communication between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, first of all. And everything starts with oneself. Whether it's a communication with another person or with anything, it starts with oneself. And if you had asked me when I was 20 if I knew who I was, I would say, yeah, absolutely. And I didn't, but I believed that. So we tend to fool ourselves all the time. So yeah, I have opportunities for those who want to dig into their subconscious mind and rewire that. I have opportunities for people who wants to learn more about the expansion method and how that works. And people can reach me through my Facebook page, my LinkedIn, my Instagram. Facebook and LinkedIn is better than Instagram, and also through my webpage that has the same name as me, Evakarin.
Fantastic, thank you. And we'll be sharing those links below this video as well, so that people can reach you and and become more aware, become more awake, and become more of who they are, and really be able to embody their truth and feel empowered.
Yeah, it's time for that now, for the world to step up in that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been such a pleasure, Evakarin, and I'm so grateful that you took this time with us all the way from Sweden.
Yeah.
The beauty
I'm
of the
thankful
virtual
to
world.
be
Yeah.
invited. Yeah.
Thank you. Any parting words, any last messages that you want to share with our guests?
Let's see. Well, I would like to repeat what I just said and what you're thinking and feeling, because they're not telling the truth. It's just they are opportunities to give you a message about you. And actually they can be your guides, because they can tell you about you what is ready to be transformed. So journal, reflect, stay in the feeling. You can do lots of different things, but don't think that that is you, because you're not. You're much more than that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What a powerful message, and a wise woman.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we'll see you again. And all those links will be below the video, so you can get in touch with Evakarin Wallen from Awake Communication. Such a pleasure to be here with the Queen of Transformation. Bye, everyone.